In this tutorial, I'll be showing you how to draft out an asymmetric neckline and also an asymmetric hemline. So I have the front pattern here. This paper is on fold. I've already traced out my back pattern and I also have the sleeve. Let's start with the front pattern. Okay, I've already marked out and traced out my front pattern. So I'll be using the red marker now to bolden the lines as I explained already what I've done. Please, if you don't know how to draft your basic pattern block like this one, you can see in this pattern, I've already marked out our bust dart and I've already taken out our waist dart. So if you don't know how to get to this point, please let me know in the comment section. I'll guide you, and I'll also urge you to go and watch my tutorial on how to draft a basic block pattern. What I have here is my chest line. To get your chest line, you divide your bust circumference by 6 and you add 1.5 to that figure, and then you mark it. So the first thing I did was to mark out the starting point on this line. After marking this line, I came straight and marked my shoulder line here, and then I mark my neck depth and neck width. So afterwards, the next line that you see me draw out here is my chest line. So you divide your chest by 6 and you add 1.5 to it. Now after that, you have to mark your, from a certain point, your shoulder to your, this is my bust point. Afterwards, you have shoulder to under bust. And after that, we have our shoulder to our waist line. This is the waistline. After the waistline, hip line. So from your hip line, this is the actual hip line here. But after marking this actual hip line, you have to go up by 2 inches to mark your upper hip. Most times when we draft, to make use of the upper hip, and that's because we don't want to have a sharp point at our actual hip. Alright, so here I've already imputed my bust dart difference, and that's the difference between our front and our back 2 inches. And what I did is to come to the side, I came down by 2 inches here and I connected back to the bust point. You all know how to get your bust span. So I've gone ahead to plot my dart on this paper. Can you see? And I measured up till the hip line. Divide your hip line by 4 and you mark your figure you get. I've marked my waist. I just finished drafting this pattern so that I can just do the alteration so that this video will not be lengthy. So I'm just trying to explain what I've done so far. So this is it. So by the time you open this pattern that is on fold, look at what we have here. So this is what it looked like. Everything looked the same now because I put my paper on fold. So now we can start the alteration. Okay, so to start this alteration, let's start with the neckline. So the first thing you have to do is to determine the type of neckline you want to do. So like I said, this is asymmetric. So I'm thinking of making it go off like this. Because it's an asymmetric, I'm going to make use of the shoulder dart on one side so that I'll be able to get what I want. So I'll be dividing my shoulder into 2. I'll divide it into 2 to get the midpoint. Okay, so I'll mark it here. So I'm going to connect this midpoint, this point now to my bust point. So I'll connect it like this. I'll come out for the neckline. From here, I'll mark out 1 inch. And whatever thing I'm doing here, I want to do the same thing here. So I'll come here again on this side and I'm going to go in by 1 inch and I'll mark it. Next, you will determine the depth of your neckline. How high or low do you want this neckline? Because my client is not too busty like that, I want to come down from my chest line. My chest line, here's my chest line here. I'm going to come down by 0.75 and this is it here. Now, I would like to also come out by 0.75. This is it here. Now I'm going to determine the midpoint of this neckline. Following this grease line that is here already, I'm going to mark the midpoint. I'll mark it out like this. And on that midpoint, I will now want to, determine the depth that I want to take proper. So I'm looking at 3.5. 3.5 is somewhere here. Now on this point again, I'm going to come out like this by 0.5. What I'm going to do next is to connect this point now to this point. And here as well, you can also use your free hand, connect it like this. And then from here, I'll connect to this point. Placing my curve rule, I'm trying to strike out a balance that will connect those points for me. So I'm connecting it like this. And then I will position my ruler again and I'll go like this. So this is neckline that I want. Do you see that there is no sharp point? This is what I want. After doing this, I would like to also curve out this part. Remember, we came in by 1 inch, right? So with my curve, I'm going to connect this point now to this point. Slightly curve. So this is it, guys. I'm going to connect like this. This is neckline proper. Now, I'd like to contour this neckline so that there will not be any form of gaping. And to do that, I'm going to divide what I have here into 2. And then I'll mark it, connecting it to this point. So I would like to mark this like this. I'm going to measure 0.25 on both sides, 0.25 here, and I'll mark 0.25 here. I will connect it here, back to my bust point. This helps me to eliminate any form of bulge on this neckline. You can as well get the midpoint of this one and also contour it. And I'll measure 0.25. Ready to take care of any excesses on the neckline so that it does not gape, which is very, very important. So you have to make sure you tighten your neckline. Okay, so I'll be cutting out this and I'll be cutting out this. Now after doing that, we'll come over here and do our princess darts. So to do your princess armhole dart, you have to get the midpoint. Of course, it's here. Make sure that it's not too curvy. Okay, so this is it here. Okay, mark 1 inch and replace it. So in case of shortage, that's why we are marking out 1 inch here, so that we can be able to make our armhole to be complete. So I think we are done with the upper part. Okay, take note of this tightening, it's very important. So now let's go over to the hemline. Because it's a stylish hemline, I'm going to extend by 3 inches. So this is the 3 inches line here. So I'm going to extend this line. These dark legs, but I'm not going to open them, but I just want to extend them so that I can use them to form my hemline, to be like a guide to me. Now after doing that, I'll go back to my hip line. On my hip line, I like to maintain this 2 inches here because I want to shape this hemline. I'm using my hip line as my normal blouse length, but I'm extending it by 3 inches just because I have a style in mind. So now I'm going to go up by 2 inches, my upper hip. I'm going to blend it with a curve to meet this place. So this is the first thing to do before we start pencil anyways, because it's just a guide, I'm not using it. So by the time I finish styling my hemline, I'm going to disregard this part. Now for the asymmetric hemline, I would like to start on this left side. Now what I'll do is I'm going to come down from my waistline by 3 inches. So on this dark leg, I would like to mark my 3 inches. I would like to mark it both ways. This is my 3 inches. I would like to mark it on this side too. This is my 3 inches. So I have identified it already. This is where my 3 inches is. This is it here. So I'm going to connect this point to my 3 inches with a curve. So I'm going to place my curve rule like this, and I'm going to try to connect the 2 points. I'm going to connect it like this. You see? So that one has been taken care of. Still maintaining this point. I will now come down to this extended line. I'm going to come in by 1.5. Put a mark there. Now I'm going to connect this point to this point with a curve. I'm trying to style the second side of my blouse now. Come like this. I have it like this. Now the next thing I do is to connect this point now to this point. Remember, first one we did was still from here. So I'm going to connect it. It's not difficult. Just try to be creative and do yours. Yours can even be better than this, but shall do some. I think I'm done. By the time I close my dart, I'll blend this part up and cut this out. So this is what we have here now. I'm going to cut it out and I'm going to label first. So this is my side, front, mid, front, side, front. Let's cut out. So I'm going to cut through this place so I can close my bust dart. So I'm going to close my bust dart like so that I can tape it down. So I've closed my bust dart and I notice a small difference here. I'm going to blend it back. I've blended it up. Okay, so now I'll continue cutting. Now I'll go ahead and close up this dart so that I can blend them up. So make sure to blend it up. So by the time I open it, I'll follow that line when I'm cutting. Alright, so I've carefully blended this place and this place. I'm going to continue cutting out. I've done every necessary form of tightening that I need to do on this dress, so I'm sure it's not going to gape. This is the center. Come over here and close my dart. I prefer to slash one side and then overlap it to the other side. Make sure I don't cut through. And then I'm going to overlap it like this and tape it down. I've taped it down and I notice small thing there. I will not leave it though. I'll go back and blend it up. Okay, I will now cut out. So at the end of the day, look at what we have here. Our beautiful pattern is ready. Put it aside until we're ready to transfer to fabric, and then we'll go back to the back. Now for the back, I'll quickly highlight the lines so that you can understand what I drafted. The back is usually easy and simple, except if you have much going on at your back. But this back, I don't have much thing happening at the back. So, but that does not stop me from contouring my back. So I traced this pattern from my basic pattern. So I've already altered. I came in because of the back bulge by 0.75. That is why it looks like this pattern is slanted, and I traced it over to this place. So here is it. This is my waistline, and this is my upper hip, and then it's extended down to my actual hip here. So this is my chest line from the front. I'm also marking it here. This is my waistline. So I went ahead to mark my upper hip and the actual hip. I've already divided my waist by 4, my bust line divided by 4, and I have my hip also here. So I'm marking, like I said, the back is straight ahead. I went ahead to drop my darts, you can see, and I am going to now alter. The only thing I'm doing at the back is just to do our princess darts. Okay, so locate your mid armhole, and then come in with your curve and connect it like so. Okay, now remember for the front, I came up by 2 inches from my upper hip. I connected with a slant to my dart leg. So that's exactly what I'm going to do now. So I'm going to connect this point to my dart leg so that it looks same at the back, but the front is asymmetric. Okay, don't forget that. That does not mean that I cannot style your back. So this is what we have here for the back. So I'll go ahead and also cut this after labeling it. So this is my side back, my center back. That is it, guys. So I'll cut this out. So this is what we have for the back, and this is our front. Thank you so much if you have watched up to this point, guys. Let me tell you something, don't miss the sewing part of this video. Please help me to subscribe to this channel so that you keep seeing more amazing videos from us. And thank you so much for sticking by me. Thank you all, my sew family. I appreciate you all. I'll see you all in the next video. So in the next video, we are going to draft the sleeve of this beautiful blouse before we sew, so don't miss out.